Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the most amazing interview show on the information superhighway. Now zooming to you live and simultaneously from two secret studio bunkers in dual time zones located somewhere south of Alaska, east of Area 51, north of Guantanamo. And if I give you one more clue, we'll all be in deep trouble. It's the amazing twin namesakes separated at birth, the two most famous guys not in witness protection. It's Coffee with James and Jim and their oh-so-special guest host, me!
Hold up. James, I think we've been hijacked, man. Is that unbelievable? That is the best intro we have had to date. I am blown away.
I'm a professional.
Is this unbelievable? I mean, I think our level just raised, the bar just went up.
On? Hello?
That is great. As you can tell, this is going to be a fun episode. Our special guest, Troy, we're going to introduce him in a second, but that just gives you a little taste of his talent in the voice acting world, and I am so excited for it. As always, my partner is with me here. James, how are you today, sir? And would you mind doing a little intro of our special guest, Troy, please?
Wow, I just don't know how you follow that, right? So let me go down the disappointment path. Now, Troy, you always do a great job. Never disappoint. Appreciate it. Jim, I'd be glad to talk about Troy a little bit and his expertise. I actually met Troy through EWN probably 3 or 4 years ago. Is that right, Troy? Give or take? Yep, 4 years.
Yep.
I've been at EWN just over 4 years, and when I heard we were working with Troy on some e-learning, some voiceover work there, I was excited to get to know him. So we actually bonded when he started doing some vlogs, and Troy and I really started talking about that and how cool that was. Also, Troy was my #1 choice for MC last year at the EWN Conference and Training Summit at Texas Motor
Which was great.
Awesome event, awesome. Troy, that's not the only way I know you. I know you as a thought leader in the voice acting world, an accomplished videographer. I had to disappoint Troy already today when we couldn't use his awesome setup he had earlier. We had to transition, but he took it in stride. But Troy, welcome to the show. So glad you're here. Can you give us, my intro didn't really do you justice, but can you give us a little more detail about, how you got here, what got you into this world? And then secondly, give us that 30,000 foot view of what voice acting really entails.
Absolutely. James, Jim, thank you so much for letting me do that wacky intro for you guys. It is an honor to be here to be on your show. I've been watching you guys and am excited about being a part of it. So it is indeed an honor. Thank you. The 30,000 foot view, I guess. Oh, and by the way, the biggest thing from my takeaway from last year's conference, you guys put me in a race car.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was amazing.
You know how many people tell us that, Troy? Like, that's all they know about EWN. Are like, wait a
Hey, that, and I got an EWN mug too.
Yeah.
So
Well, hey, you're about to get another mug pretty soon there.
Not about it.
see that right there? I keep my pencils in the race car mug that had my picture when I went around in car number 29.
Car number 20.
So that was amazing. Thank you. And of course, meeting all you folks was great. Just to back out of the story or add a few more details to what you were talking about, James. Myra Mayese was actually the one who hired me like 4 years ago on some online job site. And I almost blew it at the time because I was feeling a little bit too big for my britches, I guess. And I was just like, well, I don't know about e-learning. And that was actually probably the second or third e-learning client I'd ever come in contact with. And I thought, commercial was the way to go, and the more things with a spotlight on them.
You bet.
And I have come to absolutely love doing e-learning, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity that I got excited about doing that, and I just love doing e-learning now. The 30,000 foot view. I began doing voice acting way back in '83, '84 when I joined the military. Did a 6-year stint there, did radio, TV, broadcasting, different things like that. lots of on camera and behind the camera work. I also, when I transitioned out of that from 90 up and through about the year 2000, I'd worked in the corporate world, did a lot of video production there, produced, directed, wrote, on camera, some voiceover. From about 2000 to 2012, it was strictly commercial post-production house stuff. They bring a commercial in. I was editing 30-second spots, edited about 600 or 700 commercials. Again, sideline thing was voiceover. So it wasn't until 2012 when that job went away that I suddenly was left trying to figure out what to do. I got laid off, and in 2012, I did a lot of praying and I did a lot of soul searching, and I decided to take the plunge into voice acting. And I found a few job sites, and I kind of figured out how to market myself by following a few good mentors along the way. And I was blessed and fortunate to begin to gain momentum. And the whole thing was all about customer service for me and over delivering, because I knew there was a lot of stiff competition, and there's tens of thousands of these folks doing what I'm doing. And so I just began to grow the business. And so that kind of fast forward all the way up to where I'm at with you guys. I've been working with you guys, I guess, for the last 4 years now.
Yep.
And I've done hundreds, several hundred, I don't even know now, computer-based training and virtual reality training. And I have come to put e-learning in a very special part of my day-to-day work, because there's something really special about knowing that, a commercial's a one-off deal, and, character voice work that I do for some video games, different things like that. That's, if you want to call it glamorous, that's what people think of when they think of voice acting. But there's a whole element of narration and training and education that I personally I get a kick out of, because you're handed a lot of times this technical script that full of acronyms and things you don't really understand. And suddenly you have to be the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
And I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I have to sound like the guy that is helping these folks understand it. So making that complex comprehensive is something I love to do with e-learning. And I'm so blessed that you guys keep calling on me to do that.
Yeah.
And your crew, the education crew in your house, is just phenomenal.
They are phenomenal. Troy, you've got, one thing I've noticed is how, and this is just by following you, no other reason, but stalking you on LinkedIn like I do most people.
Yes, you do. You do very well, James.
I'm really good at it. One thing I've noticed with the voiceover community is it seems pretty tight knit. Like, is that the vibe? I mean, is that really the vibe that it's put off, or is it very competitive, or it's like kind of a be better environment like you don't see everywhere?
It is absolutely the most friendly, welcoming sort of brother sisterhood kind of environment that I've ever been exposed to. I mean, the fact that there's so much encouragement, career nourishment along the way, people are trying to help you. I have run into so many great mentors and people you just ask questions of, and they're freely, giving of the information. They're encouraging. They'll tell you to, there's more than one way to get to where you're going. This may be my way, but there's other ways. Here's what I can offer you because it worked for me. And while obviously there's a business in coaching and a business in production, for your demos, there is such a welcoming, uplifting environment that I am super excited to be involved with. And I've run into so many wonderful people in this industry that have helped me. And it's just kind of that immediate thing where you want to pay it forward, and you just want to help those folks that ask you, okay, you're where I was, or I want to be where you're at in X number of years. How'd you get there? What did you do? And it's really cool because, you get that chance to say, here are the roadblocks, here are the stumbling points, what can I do for you to help you get through that? So it's been done for me, and I like to do it for other folks too. So yeah, it's a great industry.
And it sounds very much like the energy industry in very synergetic ways. That the energy industry is so tight knit. It's one of the smallest, biggest communities that I know of. But I think I want to ask a question. Yeah, and I think I want to ask her a question because I think our audience will want to know this. You make it look so simple. You make it look so carefree, so matter of fact. Do you spend time every day practicing? Is there time that you do certain, you talk about the community, do you and other voice actors work together to like practice? I mean, when you come in and do a e-learning for us, which is phenomenal. And I think that people, it's almost like watching a TV show where you don't hear all the applause and everything, but if you ever see a TV show with all that taken out, it's like two different mediums. So I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you, but what's your thoughts on some of those questions?
Like I said, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'll have to go back to the first question, see if I can remember it. But
the padded room, the smartest guy in the padded room on top of that.
yeah, that's right. It's completely padded. So that's one thing that I want to go back to something you said about the utility, the industry you guys are in.
Yep.
I got that vibe in that sense while I was there for 3 days. The connections, the friendships, the way you guys talk to each other, the genuine authenticness that was there.
Yeah.
I felt very much like, because I had worked with you guys for so long, and now I suddenly got to meet these long lost cousins or these family members. That I was kind of.
Yeah.
I was sort of the stepchild, but then again, I was not. I felt very welcomed and in good company. So thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, it is a very nurturing environment. And you mentioned, do I practice? Do other people practice? There's things that a lot of voice actors do. They get into what are called WOGs, WOGs, or workout groups, to where you'll get a big giant Zoom screen of 15 or 20 different people. Somebody will host it. Somebody will send out copy, and everybody will go around and read based on the directions they've got. So that's a way that we stay in tune. There's a lot of people seek out coaches, and they do their thing. A lot of people just download test scripts, and they will work on the genre they really want to work on. So there's multiple different ways that you can hone that craft. For me, honestly, it's gotten to the point, and auditions are another way when you get requested to send an audition for a particular job. For me anyway, I stay very, very busy. And so my practice really involves me just kind of scanning through and reading the scripts that I get as quickly as I can, as naturally as I can, and then actually going into the record studio to actually do it. Because a lot of times you don't have the luxury of looking, like, for instance, later today, I've got something on the calendar that's 87 pages long. Cool. And about 6,000 words. But it's very technical, and it's for a utility group out west, and I don't even know which way I'm pointing. It's out west, and so that doesn't allow me the time, because of the deadline, to go through and look, other than to just check, do I know all these acronyms? Do I know all this stuff? Right. I did that this morning. I sent the questions off to the producer, and they quickly responded back and told me what 50 different acronyms, I'm not exaggerating, meant. And so I got familiar with them. I said them out loud. And before I read it, I really don't have the luxury of going through a couple of times and rehearsed reading. I'll do what's called a cold read. And I'll go through and I'll read a sentence. And then if that doesn't sound quite right, I'll just back up and do it again. And I'll fix it all in editing. And then I'll send it out to them later tonight or tomorrow. So you're always in a state of practice. You're always rehearsing. You're always kind of fine tuning. Because I do a lot of different stuff. Before I got on with you guys, I was on a Zoom call with a guy in Herefordshire, England, north of London, I think it was. And he was directing me on this crazy 3D audio game system where I was this captain on a boat and, doing all this stuff. But now
that is
so crazy, the variety is so fun. And it's like, sometimes I wish I could just do some things like that with the e-learning, just kind of break into a character, just do some silly stuff like that.
For free one time, and we'll see if it catches on. Troy, you saying all that and all the pre-work and probably post-work you do in general around whatever the subject matter is, kind of makes me laugh when I think of you prepping for a show like we're on today, and how much of a nightmare it must be for you to be with Jim and I today, compared to what you normally do as far as preparation.
Not a nightmare, James. It's a dream come true.
Oh boy, he is a voice actor at that one.
In a world.
Troy, I do have another.
James and Jim.
And if we don't do a segment before this is over, a little chunk where we just make him use some of his awesome voices, and we're really losing an
I'd
opportunity.
love, I'd love to.
All right.
Well, I would too.
So, so one thing, Troy, that I wanted to ask you, because we've talked about, the preparation of it and, all these different parts and pieces. Tell us a little bit about the logistical side. So, right, I mean, okay, so you've got to record something. What kind of tools? And you don't have to give us any secrets. I'm just saying, what's your ideal setup and how has that changed, or what does that look like during this crazy time that we're in? Are you mobile? Are you able to, what's that look like for you?
I've got a home studio that I record in, and I do all the editing in the same room. I've got an iMac computer in one room with all of the external media drives. I've got 4 Thunderbolt or Thunderbolt 2 drives that store all my audio files and video files. I use Adobe Audition to record the audio. I use Adobe Premiere to do any video work I'm doing. And what I've got a string of banded cables basically going into another room, which is the actual physical space I record in, the padded room, which is where I'm at right now. All that other equipment is about 10 feet and 2 walls away from, 20 feet and 2 walls away from me right now. So I'm connected via a screened or a mirrored monitor to that iMac computer. And what I'm looking at right now is a Dell 21-inch that's big enough for me to see scripts on.
Right.
I've got 2 monitors that I can use other than the DT770 biodynamic headphones. I've got over here is a Sennheiser, right there. Say hello. This is the Sennheiser MKH416 shotgun microphone, and it's got a unique pickup pattern that basically just is, because it's a shotgun, it just points right here, and the pickup pattern is very narrow. So it's ideally, it's great for voiceover work. A lot of film crews actually use it on movie sets because it targets the sound because it picks up that pattern right here. So, and this little thing on the end is called a pop screen. I don't know if you can see that, but that is, so
Yep.
the plosives, the P's and the B's, mostly the that sound. I'm actually recording on a different mic, but if I were doing that, that'd be really obnoxious. So that's what that is. Again, sound treatment is super, super important. A lot of thick acoustical blankets, foam tile, sound absorption on the walls, a window stuff so full of foam that it'd take me a while when I moved to actually get it out. Because I'm in a rental property right now, so I'm not actually in a place that I can tear walls out and fix things.
Gotcha.
I've had to improvise and figure that out over the years, what works best. The sound quality, the sound quality is so important because people expect, they're so bombarded and saturated with high quality media every day. You expect the sound, and I've heard this in so many different people's videos, that the video may look amazing, but if you have really cruddy sound, they're going to tune you out and it's going to be more distracting than if you get this occasional, flutter in the video, or if it's less than optimum quality. They want to hear what you have to say. Same thing with the computer-based training, same thing with the voiceover stuff you send out. So logistics-wise, if I get a script, I stay connected via my phone, via different apps. I get audition requests. I have a regular group of wonderful people like EWN that call on me to do different things. And I'm on numerous job sites where I will go out and submit bids and offers and things like that. So when I get a job, they'll send me a script and directions, and they'll give me an estimated time that they need it. I'll send them back. I'll look at the script. I'll read over it a few times. I'll crank it out. I'll record it into Adobe Audition. I'll edit it. I'll clean it up. And then I'll send it out as a WAV file or as an MP3 file or whatever they need. And in a case of e-learning, a lot of times, in fact, in all cases, things are broken up in slides, separate pieces and elements. I'll deliver those to the education group, and I'll make sure they're all happy and satisfied. And that's basically the logistics of where I work, and the equipment, and the process. And usually in most cases, I'm turning around stuff same day, if not next.
Yeah.
And I
I can
hate
attest to that for sure.
I hate to have people waiting on me. I really do, because I feel like I'm that last cog. They've kind of built the presentation, and they're kind of waiting on me to plug that stuff in. So I want to get it to them as fast as possible.
Troy,
And
Troy, what about, and I already know this answer because I'm a nerd and I asked Troy all these questions long before this interview ever started. But I know there's other nerds out there like me, right? That just love that description you gave about the microphone earlier. But what about, I know that you have a mobile setup that in a bind, and when you're, on vacation or whatever, and a client needs something in a heartbeat, you've got a mobile setup that you travel with as well?
absolutely, that is critical today. And I've got, count them, 4 grandbabies right now, ranging in age from 8 down to just over 2 months.
No
The
wonder
2-month-old,
you're in a padded room all the time.
Congratulations.
thank you. And the 2-month-old I haven't seen since I've never seen the 2-month-old yet.
Okay.
I have not, because of COVID and everything, and just, mom and dad are keeping her safe, which is smart. But this Friday, in a few days from when we're recording, we'll get the chance to go down and actually see this sweet little girl.
Awesome.
So having 4 grandkids spread around and family spread around, I thought a couple of years ago, I need to be able to pick up and travel and get a go bag, basically. But the quality needs to be as good as what I'm recording in my studio. And it doesn't when it comes to that. So if I can find that, then that's what I'll do. And I'll feel more comfortable about going, as opposed to sending an email to somebody and saying, hey guys, sorry, I'm out of the loop for 3 days or 4 days.
Right.
In this case, I said, that's not acceptable, because that's an inconvenience to the people I work with.
Sure.
And it just wouldn't fly. And so for the ability to travel and for just keeping business, I invested in what's called a DAW, not a DAW. It's an audio interface, a laptop computer, a MacBook Pro, a Sennheiser microphone, and all the little accessories that go with it. And then it's just a matter of treating the space. Once I pull everything out of the case, it literally fits in a backpack.
Okay.
I pull it out, put it on a mic stand. And this is exactly how I handled the work when I was in Texas with you guys last October for the conference. I was there in a hotel room in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I think for 3 days, including the event, and I was bombarded with work in addition to doing the responsibilities you guys had me doing.
Yeah.
Well, I was booked during that time. And when I was not with you guys, I was in that hotel room. I had set up cushions. I'd broken up the couch, not break it up, but, took the cushions off. I had created a pillow fort, basically.
Multi-purposed.
Yes, multi-purposed it.
Engineering.
And figured out a way to do that in as quiet a way as I possibly could, and just sat there on the edge of the bed and read the scripts off the laptop and just did my thing, edited them out, sent them out, and nobody ever knew. And that's the key right there. Nobody questioned the quality. I could hear no difference. It sounded great. And so I was doing business, making money at the same time. I was out there racing a car around the track. So
Hold on, you were moonlighting. I think he was moonlighting as well.
yeah, I was supposed to be emceeing, and I was doing other stuff. But I appreciate you guys letting me do that on the side.
It's interesting because he lives in a virtual world. When you think about it, his office is a hotel or a child's house or a grandchild's house, or wherever he can be. And that's kind of where a lot of us have migrated during this time of COVID. And it's nice.
You don't have to preach mobility to us. I mean,
yeah,
we've been preaching it for a long time.
I have really enjoyed watching the journey you guys have chronicled and kept track of on LinkedIn. And I was honored to be part of a Zoom meeting you guys had with 2 or 3 dozen people about a month or so back. And it was amazing to watch you.
The webinar.
Yes, the webinar. And that was very cool to be invited to be part of that, to watch and see so many, faces that I'd had a chance to meet, and some I didn't get a chance to meet out in Texas, but to get to watch you guys evolving and figuring it out and kind of being at the forefront of learning how to do that before it ever became necessary for you to do that. I thought that was really good forward thinking on your part and on your crew's part.
Good. We'll be sure our bosses are listening.
Wait, Troy, can you say that one more time, please? A little bit louder. And
A big voice, one of your fancy voices.
EWN, setting the pace, remote working, pandemic, please.
I love it.
Next challenge.
This is really why we had you here.
Okay, I'm done.
So in this next one, you can do it in whatever voice you'd like. Troy, we've seen your talents, right? Because we've worked with you for the last 4 years. But I think one of the big opportunities for our industry, other industries, is realizing, training and things like that happen everywhere. And you've already said there was a passion you didn't even know you had for e-learning and kind of that subgenre. And so when I look across and I see the focus of our industry, the natural gas industry, on really customizing training to where, it's specific to your company, there's no question, right, that it's addressing the things it needs to. What are your thoughts on the value of voiceover in that world? The
value of voiceover in e-learning is so critical, and I get where some people are like, it's show them visuals or do PowerPoints or do whatever. The ability to communicate effectively with somebody in a very natural conversational way, while there may be somebody that knows A to Z everything about a topic, as far as the safety, as far as the regs, as far as the equipment, as far as every acronym that you could possibly know. I get they're the matter experts, and I respect that completely. I think what having a professional voiceover person to help guide the people that are, in most cases, a captive audience, I think that you guys do a great job. I've seen some of the video production quality come out of your education group. It is phenomenal. It is really top shelf stuff. And knowing I was able to see that, I'd done a lot of voiceovers for you guys before, but then seeing that just kind of brought it up to a whole new level. I was like, I don't know how I don't always know how it, the narration part's being used. I don't always know the best way to convey that other than just to look at it and go, okay, that, I would emphasize this, or I would speak it like this, or who's listening. I like to kind of know who's listening and, and kind of get a mental picture of people sitting there, or even one person sitting there on their iPad or their iPhone or whatever they're doing. The ability to communicate that effectively is super, super important, because the sound of the human voice, not an electronic digitized voice, but the sound of a normal human speaking conversational voice telling you, folks, be careful out there. This is a matter of life and death. If you do this, something bad could happen. Right. Having that sense of a caring person on the other end is something I really get excited about doing, because you can look at it as dry kind of, basic information and facts on a page, or you can look at it as the person on the other end of that, listening to your voice, looking at those visuals. Some of this is seriously life and death. Some of it is making a difference to whether or not they get moved on, or they can keep a certain rating or a certain accreditation or whatever it may be. That I take that really serious when I'm looking at that. I don't just skim over and go CFR 1922.1 blah 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 PPE. It's like it's really important stuff, and it's like they may have heard it 100 or 1,000 times. And I got a few folks' feedback at the conference. I sat at a table and had lunch with these guys, and they were telling me, oh, you're that guy I've heard how many hundreds of times. I was like, yeah, what'd you think? I get that they're a captive audience, so you want to make it as interesting as you possibly can, and you'd want to try to tell a story, even though you're doing e-learning and it may be very factual, just, it's cut and dry. The ability to just kind of break it down and talk it naturally is a challenge, but it's a cool challenge at the same time, and I take it as serious business.
Well, you do take it as a serious business. And I'll say this, that we may not always notice it as, I'll just say, participants out in the utility world. But when we're listening to you talk and we're looking and reading or following along or a video or something, and the inflection in your voice when it becomes a critical step, you have that talent where our auditory picks up saying, well, wait a minute, this is serious. We really need to pay attention, because the voice I'm hearing says, yeah, you shall or be very, da da da, and it is that tone that really sets us. It kind of makes us go, wait a minute, I got to pay attention. I mean, not that I don't always pay attention, because I do, right, James? But anyways, it really helps, and it's all part of the whole package. And I commend you on that, because it's a tremendous talent.
Thank you, Jim. That actually means a lot to me, because I assume I'm getting that across, but actually hear you say it. I mean, that's what I'm going for. I mean, it's to make it conversational, make it sound, where the important stuff is. Stop, pause a little bit, don't rush through that part, convey that this is important, and now let's move on to some of the other stuff. But thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
It is.
Well, it's my pleasure.
So Troy, like we always do about this time, we could talk all day with you. You're one of those guests that it's so fascinating what you do, and it's one of those also that when you don't realize it's there, you don't realize it's there until it's not there. And so we've taken it for granted, like most people do. But we could sit here and talk all day. Do you have any final thoughts or anything you're compelled to tell our audience before we wrap this thing up?
Well, I talk all day for a living, so whether I'm talking to you or recording something for someone. I can't thank you guys enough for having me on part of this, because I've seen the esteemed lineup of guests you guys have had, and to be included in that, and to be able to work with EWN and the various groups that you guys reach out to.
Yep.
I have no idea sometimes how far out it goes. E-learning for me is honestly a passion. It's become a passion of mine, because I realize the importance of it, and I love the quality of writing that has gone up. The scripts that I get over time is really, really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've gotten some, not you guys, but I've gotten some stuff that really struggled as far as it was handled by somebody that, I think they really didn't understand that a human being was going to be talking and sharing this with other folks, and having a good, a writing base, a good understanding of that,
Yep.
and then letting somebody interpret that is so important. So yeah, I would just say that voiceover and e-learning, it's obviously, it's a huge thing, and I'm very fortunate and blessed to have it be part of my business. And thank you guys for continuing to call on me.
No,
Absolutely. And Troy, we're blessed to have you on today. We thank you greatly for the time. As James and I know we both feel right now, we could talk for hours on this and just listen to you, because it's fascinating. And can't thank you enough for joining us today. We would encourage our audience, if you would like to get to know Troy, Troy W. Hudson on LinkedIn, connect with Troy, send him a message, reach out to him. Please do, or James or myself, if you want to reach out to us, we're always here. Just hit that message button and send us a message. But until next time, we wish everybody in the industry a safe and healthy and happy day. Have a blessed day. Everybody take care, and we will see you soon on the next episode of Coffee with Jim and James.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you, Troy. Thanks again.
Thanks, Troy.
Thank you guys.
Yep.